Hello guys, today March 3 2019. I'm recording this video. Nycha, one of the Nycha buildings here in New York, specifically in Lexington development. The one part we're gonna talk about is about the domestic hot water system. The domestic hot water it could be a tank, or it could be this really tricky equipment, which probably some of you guys may know, called the PVI. PVI is the company who is making this tricky bullshit, because they pretty tricky. It took me like 2 or 3 days to figure out completely how this works. And some people, they really think they know how this PVI unit works. Some people call it PVI, some people call it Leslie. Alright, but whatever the name is, you know, this is the hot water for the building. So this video is gonna be a long video, so you guys can understand how this system really works. All right, as you can see here, that's the brand name, that's the company's brand name, PVI. All right, and this one in particular is called hot water, steam hot water in system. But to start the video, explaining, let's begin for the first part, which is the cold water. So the cold water coming from the street, it could be the real pressure from the street, which here in uptown Manhattan is about 40 psi, and 50 psi maybe. I really don't have any real information, but it's about that pressure. All right, I'm assuming between 40, 50, I would say 60 psi. All right, which is a decent pressure. So I got my pie over here, but as you may know, 60 psi is too low pressure to keep the water going out all the way to the 14 stories building. 15 or 16 is too low. It's too low, the pressure. So that's why we had these booster pumps. So these booster pumps are keeping the pressure higher, and yeah, that's what it is. So there's a gas meter, and so what it is these pumps, they're trying to keep the water, the cold water pressure higher. I would say 60 psi. We will see in a moment. So the cold water coming in this way, which is about a 3-inch pipe, cold water goes in this way, and the first thing the engineers from PVI unit, they made sure was, I'm gonna clean this. I got these two different readings. One reading, one gauge, is to indicate me how much pressure I got coming from the street, or coming from, I would say, the street, right? So as you can see here, 50, 60, almost 70 psi. If you do the math, 70 psi is a decent pressure to lift the water. all the way to the tenant's apartment. So we are in winter. In winter time, the water at the New York City is about 30 to 40 to 50 sorry, 40 to 50 Fahrenheit. So why I got in this reading gauge, which is a temperature reading, is showing me almost 100. Why? If this is cold water, I'm gonna explain later on why it's 100 and why it has to remain above 80 Fahrenheit. So the cold water coming in goes in this way. As you may know, the water always flows like electricity. Then we got like a kind of cartridge over here, which I'm gonna explain later on. It's called AMOD. So these AMODs are pretty tricky. These AMODs are thermostatic valve, and in this way the water over here, the water stops over here because it's cold water. The element over here, the element sends cold water, and it's going to stop cold water over here. So once the cold water stops over here, the water got no another option to go, and then the water goes in this way. So what happened in this way is, look at it in this way, it stops over here, and then the water goes over there. It doesn't mean the water is not over here. It's still over there making pressure. But as you may know, the water flows in this way, and this thing over here is the heat exchanger. The heat exchanger is full around of cold water, and inside of this heat exchanger there's a common coils going in this way, coils, steam coils inside, which contains steam. That steam coil is full of steam. So this system, this tank, this heat exchanger is full of cold water going this way, alright, and then steam come back down, come in this way down inside a steam coil. So where this steam coil comes from, I mean where the steam comes from, where so as you may see, we got the steam coming from the boiler, because we don't have any boiler over here in this building. The boiler is located in a different building crossing the street. So the steam comes in this way, underground, and then goes in this way to heat up the people's apartment, as I explained in a video before about the sun valve. And then the steam goes in this way too to heat up the people's water, the domestic hot water. So once the steam goes in this way, come back down and make the heat exchange. Alright, so that steam coil is full of steam. It doesn't mean the water, the hot water touch the steam. No, never. They just exchange the heat. You cannot put steam into the domestic cold water to heat up to make hot water. It's against the law. And basically this steam coil, that's steam. So as you may see, this steam comes in this way, and you got your steam trap, okay, and then the condensate goes in that way and comes in this way. And I want you to understand this part. The condensate, the steam comes, let's say, in a temperature of 212 Fahrenheit, and the condensate, the water from that steam is about 180 to 200, almost to the boiling point. So that means we got a great opportunity to heat up the water. So which water we want to heat up? With the condensate. This condensate comes in this way with the plate heat exchanger, and goes in this side of the heat exchanger and goes in that way. The water never mixed together, never, because it's against the law. Comes in this way, heat at the plate heat exchanger, and goes in this way to the tank, the condensate tank, whatever. So this pipe over here, and this side, is my return, my hot water return from the people's apartment. Comes in this way and heat up, preheat up, and this is it's pretty hot because it's making the heat exchange. So, and right now I got my booster pump to recirculate the water from the people's apartment, from the tenants' apartments, and this B&G pump, which is about I would say it's about half horsepower, is pushing the water in this way. And this gotta be at least, you know, 120 Fahrenheit, 100, I would say 100, and it mixed right into the cold water. So if the cold water is 50 Fahrenheit right now in winter time, and it mixes together, it blends together with the preheated return water, that gotta give you at least 80 Fahrenheit. As you can see here, 80, 90. So you do the math, I got 130 going to the people's apartment, and I got 90 Fahrenheit in the premix. This gotta be at least 80 to increase the efficiency of this machine. This machine, you put 40 Fahrenheit cold water over here, and the people is asking for water, this immediately is gonna drop to 100 because it's not efficient. You're not helping the unit to heat up the water rapidly, faster. So what I'm saying is, as a minimum, you have to have 80 Fahrenheit pre-mixed, preheated water going into this unit. So when the water comes in this way, a heater exchanges the heat and comes in this way, and now you have to have a 140 to 160 amps over here, which is the primary, and then you go in that way, in that way, which is the secondary amp. The secondary amp gotta be between 120 140 as a maximum, because the law of the New York City said the minimum of hot water gotta be 120. Why? Because a temperature below 120 Fahrenheit, you producing the perfect condition for bacteria to grow. So 120 is, as you can see here, is the minimum, but the maximum is 140. The maximum is 140. It won't tell you, but it tell you the minimum, which is 120. You cannot go below 120. You cannot pass 140. So the AMOT for this unit gotta be 120, 140. And this AMOT, I'm mixing the water together. I'm gonna explain in detail, in more details with a paper, how this thing works in another video. And I'm gonna show you how the AMOTs work. All right, opening and closing it. They open and close, open and close, open and close, depending how much water they send. If this is sending me 160, I'm gonna premix it with the cold water coming from that way. So it's what it is, guys. The video is going too long, so I'm gonna make another video explaining the most common problems this PVI unit have. I've been finding those problems, and I'm gonna make a video to make sure you understand what's going on. You can see here the solenoid valve. The solenoid valve are actuated by the control over here, and I see over here my pressure is 50, 60, 70, almost 80 psi, which means I got a decent pressure. I got a decent pressure. And why I gotta make sure I got a decent pressure? Because we are in a 14-story buildings. If this gauge indicates me 50 psi for a 14-story building, if you do the math, you won't satisfy more than nine storage buildings. So the people going all the way out, I would say 10, the floor number 10, 11, 12, they're gonna complain about the pressure. There won't be any pressure at all. So you gotta make sure you got all the math and calculation in your brain to make sure the delta temperature change, and from that pipe coming in, and your calculation about pressure is good pressure. So I'm gonna be making videos. This is just like a preview video, like explaining the rest of the videos coming in. And just subscribe to my channel, building a status. I'm gonna explain detailed notes, what is going on with the nycha buildings, and all the details that you guys may have questions about it. How this vacuum system work, how the chassis work. I got my chassis over here, chassis interface panel, which means chassis means computerized heating automating system. And here in New York, we've been having some problems with chassis, but I'm gonna explain later on what's going on and all the details, so you guys are interested to become in heating plant technician. Got, you know, the minimum basic knowledge to understand what's going on. All right.